Hey everybody, welcome back to Kat's Kitchen. I'm so glad you guys are back here with me again for another recipe. Today we're going to be working on a gluten-free bread so that we can make sandwiches and toast and whatnot. So we're going to be using the King Arthur gluten-free, I'll hold this up here for you, the gluten-free flour. Now you can purchase this at Sam's Club. I usually make an online order for Sam's Club, and this gave me the option to have this shipped directly to my home for free because my local Sam's Club did not have it. That's a little tip for you guys out there. If you were ordering from Sam's Club, and let me know if Costco does it as well, but if it doesn't have it in your local Sam's Club, oftentimes they'll ship it to your home for free. So I'm going to leave the link in the description box below down there for you guys for this recipe. It's fairly simple. I'll read you off the ingredients here. It calls for 3 cups of our King Arthur gluten-free flour, 3 tablespoons of sugar. I'll be using monk fruit today. I'm sure you could use honey if you wanted to. You could always experiment with that. If you do, let me know how it turns out. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum, 1 cup of warm milk, 4 tablespoons of softened butter, and then 3 large eggs. Also on this recipe, towards the bottom, it has some tips in case you want either egg-free, dairy-free, or if you want to make it in the bread machine. But for the regular instructions, it does say to use, sorry about that, my ice maker's in the background. It does say to use either a hand mixer or a stand mixer, but they say not to use the bread hook for this particular recipe for some reason. I guess it just doesn't work very well, and this dough ends up being very crumbly until you add in the milk. So let's get started. We're going to get right into it. Alrighty, so I'm just going to start off with, in my bowl here are 3 cups of our King Arthur gluten-free flour. So you can see how fine this flour is. Honestly, it resembles all-purpose flour. It's super fine. I think that's why it's going to be really good for this recipe, better than almond flour. If you have any other flours that you like to make breads or cakes or any other baked goods with, please leave them down in the description box below for me. I'd love to learn. This is also not just a gluten-free, but also a keto recipe as well for all my keto friends that are out there. All right, I'm going to get a whisk here. And next we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of our sugar. Like I said, I'm using monk fruit. That would also qualify for keto. Monk fruit is the best sweetener alternative that I can find that tastes very similar to sugar. And, you know, everyone seems to really like it so far that I've given it to. So just a little tip for you there. So our recipe is telling us, it says you can weigh the flour if you want or measure it. And then place your flour, sugar, yeast, salt, xanthan gum in a bowl. And then we're just going to blend to combine. So that's what makes this recipe a little different from other bread making recipes, because normally you would put your yeast in the warm water or warm milk, which it does call for warm milk later on, but it's saying to put your yeast into your dry ingredients right now. So I'm just going to follow this recipe like it says. And then it says to put our xanthan gum in, and that's 2 teaspoons. You can get this on Amazon. It's just a binder, since obviously there's no gluten in here. We need an extra binder. So that's what xanthan gum does. It helps hold things together. And we need a teaspoon. Okay, we need 2 teaspoons. And it's kind of like a light yellow powder. Fairly tasteless too. And then the salt. Don't forget your salt, 1 1/4 teaspoon. If you don't add salt in, you often don't get really any flavor. So it's really important. I'm just gonna mix these dry ingredients together. Alrighty friends, so I have our 1 cup of warm milk here. I just warmed it up in the microwave. And on a low setting, we're gonna mix our milk into our dry ingredients. You're just gonna gradually mix in your milk. And this is where it's gonna be a little bit clumpy until all of your milk is added. And then after this, we're going to soften 4 tablespoons of butter, which is a half a stick of butter. So I'm just gonna melt that in my same bowl here. We'll add that in, then we'll scrape down the sides. And then lastly, we're just gonna add in 1 egg at a time until it's all incorporated. Alrighty friends, so I added in that half a cup extra of warm milk, and then you're gonna blend it until your dough is thick and smooth as it calls for. And I'll show you what we've got here. I'm just scraping down the sides of the bowl. You should have something like this. Now we're gonna cover this with a clean tea towel and a clean bath towel to keep warm. We're gonna let it rise for about 1 hour, and then I'll be back with you to show you the next steps. Alrighty guys, so we have let our dough rest for 1 hour. Now we have a loaf pan here, it's greased, and I'm just gonna turn out our dough into there, and then we're going to cover it back up. I have some parchment here. I'm just gonna lightly spray this, put it on top, put our towels back on top, and let it sit in a warm area for about another 35 to 45 minutes, and then we'll bake. Alrighty guys, here is our bread. It turned out really, really nice. I just let it cook until it was brown on the bottom, and then if you tap it on the bottom, it should sound hollow. I'm gonna make some sandwiches out of this right now. I have some sweet potato fries right now in the air fryer heating up so we can have it along with our sandwich. So thanks guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.